What's good, everybody? I'm Antonio, and there is a lot of drama happening right now in the W, and Caitlin Clark is at the forefront. Let's talk about it. But before that, remember to like the video, subscribe if you aren't already, hit the bell icon if you are, and let's get to it.
48 views.
So the Indiana Fever right now are winning 18.2% of their games, which makes them the second worst team right now in the W. Caitlin Clark's play has been up and down, which you can expect from a rookie, but I think she's played pretty well overall so far, considering the attention, the hype, and the circumstances. Despite the standings and Caitlin Clark's on-the-court play so far, the conversation surrounding the Indiana Fever, and particularly Caitlin Clark, has transitioned from a basketball conversation to more of a philosophical debate about ethics and hate. The biggest questions to consider are ladies in the W hating on Caitlin Clark, or at the very least, targeting her? Or is this completely fabricated? And is her success driven and fueled by her race? Of course, let me know what you think to these two questions in the comments below, but I've got thoughts on both, so here we go. So in my opinion, players in the W are definitely hating on Caitlin Clark. I don't think it's a, 100% across the league hate. It's hard to put a number on it per se, but yeah, based on the energy we've seen, based on some of the responses, I think it's clear that players are hating on Caitlin Clark, and it's hard to understand why, considering the attention and how much she's really propped the W up. On the other hand, when you think about the nature of jealousy and hate, Caitlin Clark is the new shiny toy that everybody wants to play with or talk about, and the players that have been in the W so far up until this point are yesterday's news, basically. Now, that certainly doesn't go without saying that there's a lot of great performances and a lot of great players that probably are being overshadowed, and that's where you can understand a little bit of the hate, where it's kind of like, hey, all this attention is going to this new girl, and she hasn't really proven much yet in the W, right, professionally speaking. Aside from the very important fact that she is box office in the sense that people are going to pay their hard-earned money to see her and watch her play, and people are going to invest their personal time to watch her play on TV. And by understanding those two components, from a business perspective, you understand her value. And this is where the women in the W that are hating on Caitlin Clark lose me completely, because Caitlin Clark literally is the solution to the biggest problem the WNBA has faced since its inception, which is people just don't care. They just don't care to watch. And the fact is, Caitlin Clark makes people care. She makes people tune in, whether you're tuning in to hate on her or see the other players target her, which we'll get into a second, or you're tuning in hoping that she's going to bomb 11 threes from the logo. And we understand that when emotions are high, logic is low. But if any of these ladies that have a hateful bone in their body against Caitlin Clark were to take a moment and simply think about this from the perspective, not from their own selfish perspective, but from the perspective of what is best for the W, I think they might change their sentiment. So we know she's being hated on to some capacity, and so we also can deduce that she's being targeted. And I honestly don't have too many thoughts on this specific point, so I'll just share a few clips and let you make up your own mind on that one.
Seattle, and all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long, 44-2.
So right here, clean block originated as a basketball play. It's the follow-through. The follow-through was absolutely unnecessary, and clearly she was on a mission here. And even if she didn't block the shot, she was going to send a message.
Kicking it out, Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down. A lot of contact from Reese on Clark underneath, no whistle. Well, not a flagrant foul, penalty one, which it probably should have been upon review, at least by our account. This, you could have gotten Reese for a personal, but can also see that being a no call.
A no call? That's crazy. I can't believe the commentator even suggested that. Yeah, that one to me, that was clearly a foul, mostly due to the elbow, which was completely unnecessary. And I think if you want to really look at what somebody trying to box somebody out looks like, just take a look at Camila Cardoso on that very same play versus Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah is a much larger and physically imposing player than Caitlin Clark, and obviously her and Camila Cardoso are closer in size, but you can see Camila doesn't even think about throwing an elbow and maintains body position against Aaliyah the whole time, whereas where Angel Reese, she didn't even really care about that because she knows that she doesn't need to really body Caitlin Clark in the post, so she just threw a little elbow there. And yeah, we know that she loves to play with an edge, but I just think you got to stand on business when it comes to stuff like this. And, you know, if you're hating and throwing unnecessary shots, just stand on it. So, yes, I do think WNBA players are hating on Clark. And the impact is a lot of them are targeting Caitlin Clark, whether that's, you know, subconsciously or they're doing it consciously. To combat this, the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark need an enforcer. They need somebody that is going to stand up for the team and for Caitlin Clark in these crazy moments of physicality, because you know they're going to come once or twice a game. And here we have the most egregious of all the fouls that I've seen thus far on Caitlin Clark by Kennedy Carter. And yeah, this was probably the most unnecessary foul, completely flagrant foul, no basketball play to be made here. And I was a little disappointed that Caitlin's team didn't react a little stronger emotionally and come to back her up. So she is being hated on, and as a result, I do think players are being overly physical with her. But we'll just have to see what that means and what the ripple effects of this are over a long period of time. I can say that the outcome has been a lot of drama, conversation, and this is nothing but beneficial for the WNBA's bottom line if we're thinking about things from the business standpoint. And we do have one final question proposed at the beginning of this video as it pertains to Caitlin Clark being a superstar and if that's predicated by her race. And I have the perfect segue for that. So let's take a look at these comments made by Pat McAfee from the Pat McAfee Show off ESPN in a conversation that he was having surrounding Caitlin Clark and the impact that her race plays into her fame.
What the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby.
Yeah,
That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because she stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back, took a program from nothing to a multiple-year success story? Is it because she would go on to break the entire points records in the history of the NCAA? Not just the women's record by Kelsey Plum, shout out, but also Pistol Pete Maravich's, the dude's record as well. Is there a chance that people just enjoy watching her play basketball because how electrifying she is, what she did, what she stood for, how she went about going, what she went for? Maybe. But instead, we have to hear people say that we only like her because she's white. And she's the only popular because the rest of the rookie class is doing what they're doing. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. And we think the WNBA, more specifically, their refs need to stop trying to screw her over at every single turn. What you have is somebody special. And we're lucky she's here in Indiana.
Yeah, so I completely agree with what Pat McAfee is saying here as far as the overall sentiment he's getting off, which is it's pretty outrageous that people would even suggest that she's only this popular because of the work that other rookies have done ahead of her or because of her race. Because I don't know. I don't know if it's just me or not, but we've seen plenty of white, really, really, really good, if not, all-time superstars in the W, and they haven't had the same appeal, reach, and intrigue that Caitlin Clark has had. So in my opinion, it all comes down to play style, and it's a similar thing that we saw on the NBA side when Steph revolutionized the game, right? But did he just snap his fingers and call her a white bee. Not a good look for Pat McAfee. Yeah, he didn't have to call her that to get his point across. So hopefully, as we see more people come into this conversation, people are able to keep it respectful, regardless of how they feel or how excited or passionate they get. But this is a great place to leave it, and this is all that I have for you today on all the recent Caitlin Clark WNBA drama. As always, we will be back sooner than later with more content. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.
48 views.